Good to see you. Hi. Well, Todd, Todd has met Ken Cohen, practiced with him a little bit, I think, some, yeah, a little bit. Um, and I just got to hang out with him at his home in Nederland, Colorado, which is a little tiny town above Boulder, up in the mountains. Where he's lived for a very long time, 40 years or something. And my grandson and I got to spend 2 hours with him. And I learned more about him. And he's a tea master, a tea ceremony master. And so he studied for 30 years with the two most prominent tea ceremony masters at the time in the United States. And so he served us tea,
Oh my goodness.
but in a very special way. And so he had tea that was called Kanzeon tea or Kuan Yin tea. So it's the tea. Well, since there's just the two of you, I'll tell you this little story that he told me, the origin of this tea. So I don't know, Tracy, if you know this, but Avalokiteshvara or Kuan Yin is the
Yes.
goddess of compassion. So the story is that there was a farmer in China, and not too long ago, a couple of generations ago, uh, who was working this particular field, day in and day out, and he noticed down in kind of a gully or a valley in the near the field or by the field that there was a ruined temple, just a small temple, kind of a little local temple. So he went down and he would rest in there in the shade in the heat of the day. And as the days went by, he started sort of cleaning it out and fixing it up and making it nice. And he did this for many months or even years. And one night he had a dream, and in the dream, Avalokita came to him and said, "Thank you so much for cleaning up my temple. And I want to tell you about this special tea tree." Tea tree is kind of a bush, really, but I want to tell you about this. And in the dream, she described where on the land he could find this tea and that he should get the seeds because it was very special. It was her tea tree. So he next day went out and followed her directions, as the story goes. And he found this little tea tree kind of where no one had ever noticed it. And because he knew that there were going to be very bad things happening in China really soon, which is the Cultural Revolution, he harvested the seeds from that tree, and then he took them and he fled to Taiwan. Um, and there he planted the seeds, and in the correct conditions, having to do with soil and sun and altitude and so on, and developed this strain of tea, the Kuan Yin tea. And there's very little of it, and Ken knows his offspring, so maybe his grandson or somebody's son maybe, who makes this tea available to him. So that's the story of the tea. And it's, for like a quart of it, it's like $500. Yeah, tea is a real thing. So he did this little ceremony for us. He had this teeny tiny little teapot, a little tiny metal teapot, and he put some of the tea in there. And then he got some boiling water and he filled it, and then he overfilled it so that it flowed over it and it went down into this kind of reservoir under this tray. And then we each had two little containers. One was a cup, just maybe an inch in diameter and about an inch tall. This tiny cup. And there was a tiny cylinder that looked like a test tube, but it was only about 2 inches high. But it was kind of like a test tube. So he took the tea and he poured it into the cylinder. And then you take the little round bowl and you invert it on top of the cylinder. Then you hold them both and flip it over again. And then you take the cylinder off and the little bowl's filled up. And then you smell the cylinder. You just smell the tea. And he said, the smell is actually much more powerful than the taste.
Mm.
He says the sense of smell bypasses all the modern parts of the brain and goes right to some perception that's kind of below the level of consciousness. So he said the smell is really important. So you smell it for like 2 minutes and then you drink the tea. And then he pours another round and he does this 9 times.
Good.
So my 21-year-old grandson is there with me, and he's just, gaga, he's never seen anything like this, never met anyone like Ken. And then we had many conversations. Ken's a storyteller. He told a lot of stories, and I told a few stories too. So it was very inspiring to see him. He is really one of the truly foremost Qigong teachers in the world, certainly. So thought you might like to hear that. What?
How's his health these days?
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because when we saw him, he was still using canes, wasn't he? He was kind of hobbling around.
Immediately after that retreat, he had a medical emergency. I don't recall what it was, but
During the retreat, actually, the second to the last day, he ended up leaving. He had gallstones.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he had terrible abdominal pain, and he didn't trust the doctors in Tennessee, and rightfully so, in rural Tennessee. And but yeah, he came through that. He came through that.
How
Okay.
long ago was that?
I'm sorry.
How long ago was that you were sick?
8 years ago, 7 years ago.
Something like that, yeah.
What do you think? Before COVID,
Oh,
Mm.
definitely, yeah.
like a few years before COVID. So maybe 8 years ago or something. But all this happened. Todd and I were at a retreat with him,
Mhm.
along with a couple of other friends, and
Yeah, I came down with the flu or something the second day and missed the entire
Oh my goodness.
retreat except for the first day.
yeah, it was really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really, but then you recovered just at the very end
In time to drive home, yeah.
in time to drive home. Yeah, that was unfortunate. But yeah, anyway, it was great to see him, great to be with him. So there's just three of us. I'm sorry.
A good story.
Oh, the man is a storyteller par excellence. He could just tell stories all day and all night. You know, he's really great. But um, so is there? I mean, I have something planned, but it's just the three of us. Is there something particular you'd like to do?
Not really. It's
Not really. Okay.
just
Oh, good.
glad to be here.
Okay. So is the situation with your sister sorted out, Tracy?
Yes, she is in a really fine rehab facility, and as of 4 or 5 days ago, she has totally regained her mental capabilities.
Oh.
No delirium. It's like one big blur for her, and it is. She only said, "I now realize how sick I really am, and how it's a hard rehab." but it's just very lovely to be able to just communicate again, and so I'm very grateful. And sort of winding down from what was really a pretty hellish 6 weeks.
Good. Well, glad to hear it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
good
Very much.
outcome.
Yes.
So there's a lot in Qigong that has to do with bones, bone marrow wash, um, and what they call hollow bones. And so this is the idea that the body, well, and the mind, is a hollow bone, and that it's empty, and it connects heaven and earth so that energies can flow through the body in the way they would flow through a flute made out of a bone, that it flows through. And the practice is to allow this natural openness. And so when we do things like opening 7 gates, and that refers directly to this hollow bone kind of concept. It's more than a concept. It's a construct. Uh, and so there are a number of practices that have to do with energy flowing through vertically, either up or down. Okay, through this hollow sort of bone. And in Qi healing, the healer, the Qi practitioner, is to become a hollow bone, so that if they're using their Qi to help to heal somebody, they're not depleting themselves. So they're actually, connected into the Qi of the earth, the Qi of the sky, the Qi of the universe, and it's moving through them to the person who they're healing. And conversely, they can remove blockages or dark energy from that person without taking it on themselves. So it goes through. So that's the general idea for Qi healing. And so we'll be doing some of the practices having to do with that. And just to mention, in the Tibetan teachings, as well as in the Taoist teachings, at the moment of physical death, um, the spiritual practice, the reason for the spiritual practice is to be able to move the energy, the consciousness, through the body and out the top of the head. So the idea is that the more gross energies of the body and so on, they sort of go down, and the spiritual energy or the consciousness goes up. And so it's very important to have this concept of this hollow bone, and to be able to sense and move Qi through it in preparation in preparation for the time of our death, or to help other people who are in that process. So a lot of the Tibetan practices are around that. So that's the hollow bone. So let's get started, and I'll change the view here. And I think it's appropriate to begin this with the hollow bone practice that's taught by Tricia Yu, who received that practice from Ken Cohen. And I don't know where he got it from. Some teacher in China, no doubt. So we'll start with that once we loosen up a little bit. So, with these side to side and turning, we just want to allow this movement to slowly segue into this stillness. So we're neither left nor right. We're both left and right. And we've come through this pendulating, we've come to this stable and what we can sense as this vertical posture. Okay, so with the out breath, we can move the attention down and feel the bottom of the feet. With the in breath, we can sort of straighten the body up, bring the shoulders back a little, drop the chin, and sense this uplift. That there's something holding us up. Okay. And then we can extend this with the out breath down and then do the imagining and feeling the roots. So that's that end of the hollow bone. And then as we breathe in, we can extend this up and out into the universe or the sky. And that's the other end of the hollow bone. And then this is referred to in the teachings as earth, heaven, human. So the earth is that end of the bone, the heaven is that end of the bone, and the human is the bone and the channel. Okay, so dipping the knees and bringing the hands up to the lower dantian and letting the hands expand out as the belly expands. And aware that this body is made entirely of the earth. Every atom, molecule, and cell in this body comes from the earth. And that in this position, we contemplate the womb in the body or the umbilicus connected to the womb of our mothers and our grandmothers and so on back. So embracing the womb, not only the human womb, but the womb of life itself. So this is the connection to our ancestors, our genetic ancestors, and to our spiritual ancestors who have brought these practices to us. Okay, very good. And dipping the knees, letting the hands float up to the heart. And in this position, in the middle dantian, the hands move away just a little bit with the breath. In this position, we contemplate that through the breath, we are connected to all living things, that the breath moves all around the planet through all things, and we're connected to everything that is arising moment to moment, and that in this moment, people are laughing and crying, being born and dying, experiencing tragedy and miracle, and we are connected to it all through the source. Okay, so keeping attention on also on the lower dantian and down into the roots and the middle dantian, and then dipping the knees again. Okay, lighting up the brain, and then going up, 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 and looking up and holding this ball of luminous celestial light, Wuji, the oneness before the beginning, and dipping the knees, and then opening up this one light into the rainbow of all hues, which is the manifest realm, and this gesture of acceptance and oneness with all that is. Okay, and dipping the knees again and folding this back up. So embracing this column, the hollow column from up in the universe, and bringing down the light of the sun, the moon, the stars, the source of the light, bringing down and filling the marrow of the bones with the light of the stars. All the way down and into the ground. Okay, very good. All right, and now let's loosen up the head and neck and shoulders. Okay. And then so opening. Okay, and moving down, rocking the pelvis. And then circling the hips. All right, and then balancing on one leg. Okay. And now the backwash. Beginning with attention at the crown of the head. And then focusing on the vertebrae. And then coming back up into tree and spring. Let's do this 2 more times. And now let's go into tree and autumn. So again, so this is the hollow bones. And so as the hands move down, to do it very slowly. So the attention is opposite the hands, moving down in the center of the body. Moving down, 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 and then extending into the earth, and then in breath. The eyes are watching the hands, and now the eyes are turned inward, and we're feeling the attention moving down the middle of the body, down, 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 down the legs, down the feet, and down into the earth. And so the tree in spring and tree in autumn are hollow bones movements. This is reinforcing the movement of our attention down the center of the body, feeling it go down and down into the earth. Okay, and now let's do tree and spring. So we start with our attention down, we're pointing down, we're bringing it up through the middle of the body. It's very slowly, just focus where the fingers are pointing. Okay, and then feel it leave the head, and then up, 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 and then focus way, way, way up, way, way out. And just feel this openness through the body. Okay, so one more tree in spring. So we're imagining this column, and we're feeling the attention. We can feel the attention as it goes up the body, out the top, and then project it way, way, way up. Way, way up. Okay, good. And then come back down. The eyes are moving along with the hands again. Okay, good. And now let's do a tree in autumn again. So the eyes are moving up and up, 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 looking up, sort of through the top of the head. And now bringing this down. Moving the attention down the center of the body. And out. Okay. Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, and now on the breath practices. So with the in-breath, let's pretend that we're breathing in from the earth up through the feet. Okay, you can, and let's use our hands. So in-breath, up to the chest, and then out-breath. So breathing in from below, filling the body this far, breathing out. Good. Okay, good. So breathing in up to the chest, and then stop the hands, breathe out, breathe in, okay, and breathing out, out, up the top of the head, and hold this. And then when you're ready, then with an in-breath, we'll breathe down to the chest, out breath, all the way down. Breathe normally. Okay, and at the next in-breath, we'll breathe up to the chest, hold, relax. With an out breath, breathe up, breathe normally, hold, look up, breathe normally. Okay, and then either an in breath or an out breath, it doesn't matter. Down, breathe normally. Out breath, down. And then breathing up. Okay, and when you're ready, just come back to standing. And without the hands, and just breathing through the body. You can use your eyes if you like, turning inward, breathing vertically through the body. Okay, and then make your breath softer. Just notice. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and bring up our stool. Okay, and together we'll do the practice, the Tibetan practice, which is based on Qigong of POA. It's PHOWA. And in this practice, we project our consciousness through the body and up above the body. And in the traditional practice, we project it into an image of a deity. It can be the Buddha or Kuan Yin or any deity, or it can just be up into spaciousness. Whatever gives you a sense of transcendence, whatever that might be for you. It could just be the sky or the universe. It could be God. It could be the Buddha. It could be the Great Mother. It could be any sort of image of transcendence. Okay, so we have a strong sense of this vertical column. We're breathing through it. Okay. And now we drop our attention down into the lower dantian, or even lower. It's feeling the low point where the breath is. Okay, and in the traditional teaching, we are imagining a red pearl in that place. And the Chinese name for the lower dantian is the field of cinnabar, cinnabar meaning redness. So we're imagining a sort of this red pearl. Okay. And that's there. And then bringing the attention up into the brain, in the middle of the brain. And here we imagine and feel the presence of a luminous white pearl. And the white is aligned with the red directly above and in this channel. And so we're going to utilize the ability to breathe up through this tube from below and down from above. Okay. Okay, so with the next in-breath, we're going to focus on the red pearl and down below. Just focus on that. Okay. And then we'll use a strong out breath and we'll shoot the pearl up into the heart area. So whenever you're ready. So strong out breath. Okay, so now that's in the heart area. And now moving attention up to the center of the brain and to the white pearl. Just a sense of that. Okay, and then with an in-breath, we'll bring our attention to that white pearl. And with a strong out-breath, we'll shoot it down into the heart. And so the red and the white are together, and they start to spin all around each other. Very fast. And then they turn into this silver, luminous silver sphere. Just in the center of the chest and in the center of this empty tube. Okay, very good. So that's there. And now we move our attention up, 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 and out the top of the head. And above the body somewhere, just feel or imagine, visualize the transcendent image, whatever that is for you. It can be near the top of the head or farther up. And this silver pearl, this is our essence in this moment. Get a clear sense of that image above. And then the column, and then this silver pearl. And then with a very strong out breath, we're going to shoot that up, and it's going to merge with the transcendent image. Okay, ready? 1, 2, out breath. Okay, and then you go up with it. Okay, so the body is sitting down below, and you look all around, so, and you're in with the fifth jhana of infinite space. Just means there are no forms. And you're totally connected to the body. And then this column extends up, 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 up. And then there's this luminous space all around. And you become one with this spaciousness. And the body is in the center of it. Okay? And then just release all images. And the breath is long, slow, even, and fine. Smile just a little bit. And so here there is the vertical column, the vertical consciousness, and all of this. And there's this sense of bigness, infinite space all around in all directions. So this is not an out of body experience, it's just expanding the body. There are different subtle levels of body, the physical body being the most dense. And so we're at home in the body, in the physical body, and we're at home in these bigger bodies as well. Okay. And there is another white pearl in the brain and another red pearl in the lower abdomen. Everything is familiar. And we're sitting upright, and we can move our attention anywhere from the earth through the body out into the universe, anywhere. This is all familiar. Okay, let's take a few more breaths. And then go ahead and loosen yourself up. Okay, very good. And we'll clap our hands one time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much for your presence, for your practice. May it benefit you and your whole circle. And still time to enjoy this beautiful day. If you'd like to stay, that's fine. And if you'd like to leave, that's fine too. Oh, Sandy, you picked quite a one to come back to. So, yeah, you're muted.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
you missed the introduction, but that's the practice of hollow bones. The idea that the body and the mind is a hollow transmitter of spirit or of energy, earth energy or cosmic energy through the body.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's that was some of those practices for that.
I love doing that kind of thing because and I forget, well, I find that whenever I am feeling off balance, my body is struggling, something's going not right, doesn't feel good. I tend to do that kind of thing
Mm,
to bring myself back to inward to and I can feel uh, the change
mm,
in energy.
mm,
It's about it's sometimes the only thing I can do.
mm. Yeah. And it's accessible just with the breath. So just with the pranayama practice, if we can just take an in breath and from below or above, so breathing in and then breathing out through, we just clear the whole field, we clear the whole channel just with one breath,
Wow.
So yeah, so it's useful in daily life.
Yes, it's so good to see you, hear your voice,
Yeah, good
and
to see you
move with
again.
you.
Yeah, well, so I'll be doing these classes the rest of May.
Okay.
And then I'll take June off and probably a bit of July too. And then we'll start up again.
Great. I'll stick with you until I'm leaving for a couple of weeks in June as well.
Uh-huh.
My
So a lot of people, yeah.
my oldest grandchild will be graduating from high school in June, first
Oh,
week.
wonderful.
So I'm
Wonderful.
excited to go see her.
Yeah, very cool.
We're going to California, Joshua Tree.
Oh, fabulous. Wow. She lives in Joshua Tree?
No. She lives in Southern California, northern San Diego area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that area. That's
We're going
great.
to spend some time there, and then we'll go to Joshua Tree for
Cool.
spend some time there.
Yeah, great place.
What are you doing for your break?
Oh, I mean, I don't know exactly.
Some time off.
Yeah, it's just we need to give it a break from time to time.
Yeah.
I do this every year. Yeah.
I know. And we all need to do that to
We
stop,
need to do it. Right.
interrupt the patterns and look at ourselves from a different angle.
Yeah, and so yeah, you missed the beginning. So I was in Colorado, hanging out with Ken Cohen, who's my Qigong teacher, who's just an unbelievable human being, just incredible human being. So yeah, so inspired by that too.
That's a wonderful feeling too.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it to us.
All right, Sandy.
Thank you so much, Stephen. See you next week.